What's up, everybody? Welcome to I Have Issues, the comic book show where I talk about comic book related subjects that either piss me off or annoy me to some degree. Now, you might notice that things are a little different right now. Getting things together to do the episode my normal way was kind of difficult during this pandemic, and if you can't tell, if you didn't know, this had to be pushed back a week because something between Audacity and Premiere didn't work, so I have to re-record the whole episode, which is probably good because the first episode was like half an hour long and was just me rambling, because this one doesn't really have a script. My original idea for this episode was going to be talking about Daredevil and talking about a problem I had with the newer direction his books have been taking, or started taking. I haven't read the last 2 volumes because I haven't been able to get my hands on them. I don't buy digital, so I have to get physical copies. I don't buy digital anymore because I had my info stolen once, and that is never happening to me again. Thank you very much. So, what caused me to change my idea? Well, the thing that caused me to change my idea, if you have not kept up with any comic book related news, is this New Warriors book. Now, I can't remember. Is it The New Warriors or The New Warriors? I can't remember the title. A little bit of background first before I get into why I've seen people talking about this, and also I apologize if you can't tell. This video is a little bit more rambly because there's no script. Again, I'm sorry. Getting my thoughts together for my normal process has been hard with the pandemic. Just bear with me. But anyway, The New Warriors. Now, the team has been around for a couple decades, but my experience with them was with the book Civil War. The comic book version was a bit different than the movie, and it started off when the New Warriors, which at the time consisted of Speedball, Night Thrasher, Namorita, I think is how you say her name, Namor's cousin, and I think what was the other character's name? I think his name was Microbe or something, this guy who could control microorganisms. They had a reality show where they would go around with a camera crew and produce a TV show, like a low-budget TV show of them beating up bad guys. It was a really shitty reality TV show hosted by a bunch of D-list heroes. Not a bad premise, really. But what happened was they found a group of villains, holed up in a house together. They broke in to fight them, and then one of them exploded. The character's name was Nitro, and that was his ability. He would blow himself up to damage things and then reconstitute himself, reform, and continue fighting. Well, he exploded, and the explosion was so big it killed a fuck ton of people, including most of the New Warriors except for Speedball. And then Speedball got an edgy remake calling himself Penance and all that. This new book, Speedball is back to being Speedball. Two of the New Warriors, Night Thrasher and Namorita, are alive again somehow, and they are forming a new team. Something happened in Marvel Comics that I'm not too familiar with. Like I said, I don't really read issue to issue. I collect... Computer's going off right now. Super rude. I collect trade editions because that's just easier on my wallet. It's something that happened with the Miss Marvel book, I believe, where superheroes have to, or young superheroes, I should say, like teenage ones, have to have a mentor by law. So the New Warriors are training the new team of New Warriors. And the new team is where I see a lot of people complaining. Now, I'll talk about the ones people have the problems with at the end. The rest of the team, you have Screen Time, a character whose mind is permanently connected to the internet. He can Google any fact. He can use Google satellites or things like them to map out things or locate certain things, and kind of like permanently having Google Street View in your head, I guess. And then he can also see in augmented reality, which that's kind of interesting as long as they do it right. A character like that would not be positive. Someone who is regularly stomaching the internet's bile would not be a happy person. They would be incredibly negative because they are seeing the shittiest sides of humanity on a near constant basis. As long as that is addressed, I think you'll do fine. You have, was it a teenage vampire? Apparently he was a goth kid who got a blood transfusion, from Resident Marvel vampire Morbius, and now this goth kid now has vampire powers, the dream of any goth kid, I guess. And he goes by the name B Negative, which, not gonna lie, that is fucking funny. That is a great name for a vampire character. I love it. And then you have Trailblazer, a girl who doesn't really have superpowers, but she has a magic backpack that she can reach into and pull out any object that she needs, kind of like a bag of holding from Dungeons and Dragons. My dog is super excited right now. Sorry about that. Anyway, so her Trailblazer's ability is kind of like a bag of holding from D&D. She reaches in, she pulls out whatever item she needs, and there you go. She doesn't really have superpowers, though, which kind of seems to be what her focus for the team is going to be. Her whole thing is going to be that, oh, I don't actually have superpowers, why am I on the superhero team? Which, yeah, that's the right way to take that sort of character, I think. You need to show them that they don't need superpowers to be a hero. There are a bunch of characters in Marvel who don't have superpowers but still are superheroes, like Black Widow, Hawkeye, a couple others. They're characters without superpowers or flashy superpowers in some cases, I guess, and they're just super talented humans who can keep up with superheroes. So taking her that way is a good idea. The ones people have the problems with, though, are the last two members of the team. They're a pair of twins. One, one of them, they have the ability to create snowflake-shaped shurikens. Like, they are a cryomancer who can form ice shurikens that they throw at people and they just shatter. Then you have another one, their twin brother, who can create force fields, but only force fields that can protect other people. He stays on the outside of the force field and tanks the damage while they stay safe. And their names are Snowflake and Safe Space. Now, the thing people have the problem with these characters that I've seen is, one, their names and the idea that seems to be behind them. Let me describe them for you a little bit. I don't think they've given their names yet. I don't think they have. It's just their superhero names, Snowflake and Safe Space. Snowflake is a non-binary person, which, if you couldn't tell, is why I'm making sure to refer to them as they and them, because I don't want to get that wrong. And they're also a pair of black teenagers. So you have black teenagers, one of which is non-binary, using the name Snowflake, and Safe Space. And the mentality of the writers is that these characters are using these names to take back the terms Snowflake and Safe Space so that they are no longer seen as derogatory. And the problem people have with this is that it's basically split into two camps. You have the dumbasses on one side saying that they don't want those types of characters in their comics and you should keep your stupid libtard politics out of my comic books. Those people are stupid. You have the other side, the community, the LGBT community that these characters are kind of designed to appeal to, seem to be annoyed, at least from the people I've talked to in it, seem to be more annoyed that they don't really care that you're doing this. They don't want characters who reclaim these words. And the general idea behind it seems to be, from their perspective, that they're not characters in themselves. They're not characters, they're a message. They're a statement. Because here's the thing. The idea behind these characters isn't bad. Having this representation, sorry, my phone went off. Having this representation isn't a bad thing. There should be non-binary superheroes. There should be black superheroes. And those characters can appeal to a larger audience. But when you go in with the mindset of, we want these characters to reclaim something, that's what we want them to be about, these characters stop being characters people can identify with and relate to and become a message. they just become a statement. They're not characters you can identify with and learn to relate to. They're there to be a message and nothing else, and that's what people seem to have the problem with. Make these characters, yes, don't make them a message, because then some people might get annoyed, because then it's not about them as a character growing, developing, and learning. It's about whether or not the message is presented well, and if these characters are presented well. You shouldn't ever reduce a character to just a message. Having a message that they get across is fine. It's a fine line. Having them get across a message is fine. Having them just be a message and nothing more is where the problem comes in, and that seems to be the biggest issue with these characters on that side. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with these ideas as these characters as ideas. Some of them have very interesting concepts, with the exception of screen time. He seems to be kind of dumb, but it's fine. But we can't really judge it until the book is out. I think the first issue might be out digitally right now. I could buy it. I refuse to buy digital, like I said. So I will wait and get the first issue when I can, when comic book stores reopen and I am allowed to leave my house. But until then, my biggest issue with it is I kind of see where these people annoyed at the message are coming from. Like, these people want characters that they can identify with and relate to and enjoy seeing interact in this world that they love reading about. But when you take those characters and make them nothing more than just a message and not a character, people are going to complain, and I can understand that, and I kind of agree. Don't make a message, make a character who gets that message across, I guess. And maybe that is what they're going for. The promotion just fucked that up. Comic book promotion has never really been that good to begin with. So who knows? We'll see what happens when this book comes out, and I am looking forward to reading it. I want to read it. I want to see what these characters are like, and if they get this done correctly. And I don't think it's fair to entirely judge it. I can have an opinion. I'm not judging the book yet because I haven't read the book yet. Once I read it, I will have an opinion, and hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully they do find that line and just let them be characters and not a message. And if they do, you could potentially have a good team. I think this could work. The idea of a group of heroes training the next group of heroes doesn't typically seem to work that well, and from what I've seen, Marvel did try this years ago with a book called Avengers Academy. I think that was late 2000s to early 2010s. I think it was like 2009 to 2011, I think. And that book didn't go great. So here's hoping that this book, at least, they learn from that failure and it sticks around. I think it's only set to be a 5-part mini-series right now, but if it does well, maybe it'll keep going. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on it. I hope these are done well. I hope these are new heroes that people can relate to and have fun with and read and enjoy. I want that for people. So that's something I've learned about the more I read comics and the more I see people talk, is that every person should have the chance to be represented in comics or in any medium, not just comics, TV shows, movies, what have you. And if this can get that started for people who are missing out on certain types of representation, great. Good. Let's have it happen. Just please do it well. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have yourselves a fantastic day, and we'll hopefully come back next month where I pray to God all of this is done and we can leave our houses. But until then, again, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.